Hyundai EVs, so there will be a couple of types of charging, which in most electric cars there will be anyway. So you've got something like AC charging, which is what you do in your house, and then there's DC charging directly to the battery, which is a lot faster, obviously. But one thing on those, the speed at which the DC charging, say at a charging station, happens can kind of depend on the temperature of the battery. So one thing that we'll say a lot of the modern Hyundais will do now is if you go into, we'll say you'll have an EV menu, most of the softwares will be similar to this, but into an EV menu, a couple of options down along here. So you go into settings, and then one of the settings is battery conditioning. So it tells you the current battery temperature. So in this case, it's normal. The car's inside in the showroom. It's pretty warm at the moment. So if I go to activate battery conditioning, it won't do anything because the battery temperature is already optimized, so it's at its most efficient temperature to absorb the energy. However, if this said high or if this said low at a different time of the year, then if I do engage this, it will try and get the battery to a more optimal temperature, which will increase the speed at which it can absorb the energy. Another way also, if you do want to engage the battery conditioning, is if you go in and look for, say, an EV charging station. So you go to an EV charging station, you set this. If the temperature of the battery is incorrect, it will automatically engage the battery conditioning to try and get the temperature of the battery to the correct level for when you arrive at the station. So when it's at the correct temperature, that means you go for direct DC charging, and the battery's at a temperature which will, I suppose, facilitate its fastest possible absorption of the energy. Actually, if you ever do set the navigation to a charging station and it does start preconditioning, you're going to see a symbol. So if you do see where your battery indicator is for the amount of charge left in the battery, you'll see a little coil coming up into the middle of it, and it'll look like this, and that means the car is starting to precondition. Anyway, hopefully that's useful, and thanks for watching.